Okay, so we're going to get into the chassis build here, and the first thing I think we need to sort out when you go to the chassis build of the WPL is first of all, the manual sort of shows you your components at the top, which components you need for which stage of the build, and the process of performing each of those stages. But a bit of a bone of contention here is the screw guide. Does give you here number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and number 5 screws. Drawings are not one-to-one, but I believe WPL are trying to work on that. So process of elimination here. So number 1 screw says that there is 70 of them. So I've separated those, and number 1 screw, 70 of them. And I believe the number 1 screws are, the measurement is 2.5 mil by 5.5 mil. 5.5 being the length. Okay. Then I believe the next one I've worked out is these ones here. I think you'll find there's 10 of those in there, and the only one on the drawing with 10 of are the number 3 screws, and I measured those at 2.3 mil by 10 millimeter long. Okay, so again, process of elimination. That's the number 3 screw. Then I've worked out that they're exactly on here 6, and on the drawing one with 6 of them is, I think, is the number 4 screw, and I measured that at 2.5 mil by 7.5 mil long. Okay, so there's exactly 6 of those. Now this one here, these, we've now got 2 left, and both of these say that they are one of them says that there's 6 of them, and one of them says that there are 8 of them. So I kind of got 8 of these, and I've got 8 of these. So I think what's happened is somewhere along the line, I think obviously how they measure, but I think they do it by weight. There's a couple of extra of these ones. Now the only problem I've got here is that, well, because I don't know which one was intentionally supposed to be 8 and which one's supposed to be intentionally 6, we got a situation where we don't know. So anyway, but these are definitely longer, as you can see. So these, I believe, are the longer ones. So I've done the longer ones. I've just named them number 2 screw. For now, we'll find out as we go along. There's 8 of those. Maybe there might be 6, but maybe there's only supposed to be 8. And the same again with the number 5 screw. Again, 2.5 mil by 5.5 mil. There's 8 of those. Maybe there should have been only 6. Maybe they're the other way around. We'll see as we go along. But I suppose the main thing is at least you've got more than not having enough. So anyway, that's the screws separated out. Now we can go on to the next. So we're going to concentrate on the first part of step 1. So flicking back to the main page, you go into the dive into the bag, and you get the components that you need to make the dampers. So you've got they call them shock eliminator covers, shock eliminator sleeve, and shock eliminator fittings, and shock administer the spring, and shock administer core. Technically, that's these components here. So the cap, I think this would be the core, this would be the spring, this would be the sleeve, and then this would be the fitting. So we've got 4 of those. Put them all together, and we'll make those up. So I'm going to make 3 of them up and then show you how to do one, because they're all the same. So building one of these little shock is quite straightforward. So you get your this is the shaft. I call it the shaft, which they call it the core. Pop that through, and you get one of the ends here, which is basically an end, which again they call that the eliminator fitting. Screwdriver down the middle, and you screw this in. Try and get it straight before you start screwing through. So both planes nice and straight as much as you can, and then screw that. And then just make sure when you screw that you're not going too much, just to the end of the thread, so it's done. So that's it. Then once that's done, your spring, pop that down the middle, and your cap over the top, clicks in, and you should, there you are, that's them. And you can see that I've done all 4 of those, so we just do the remaining ones. So let's attach now our dampers, which are spring-loaded dampers, they're not oil dampers. I'm just going to build this chassis stock, and then we'll go through the upgrades. So building it stock, so we need to get our chassis, and you can see I've done one of the chassis rails already, you need to get this lined up correctly. So there's, look for the number of holes. You've got 3 here, and then we need this one, and on the other end of the, you've got these 2, so you need to get this the right way around. So you can see I've done that on that side of the rail. So for this side of the rail, we need to make sure we're here on this side of the rail, on the 4th one. See, you need and you need your you need a number 1 screw, which is the smaller screws. These are the main screws you'll use. So again, it's just a matter of popping that on and screwing that into place. Now let's make sure we're nice and straight as well. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, so I'm just going to screw that into place. Don't go too mad, screw through. Now what we need to do here is, when we tighten this up, it'll only go so far. That's tight as it go. You probably notice there's quite a lot of slop here. So what I'm going to do is pop this back off again, because I believe it should be a little bit, you should have it move, but it shouldn't be sloppy. So I've got some 3mm, like 3mm washers that I use, and I'm going to pop a 3mm washer over there and squeeze that over the whole thing. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but it does go on, and you've really got to give it a good squeeze. There you go. And then once that's on, we can take our chassis rail and just push it home as well, so the washer is fully home. Okay, and you'll see here, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, you can see that's over the top of there now. You see, give it a good squash over. Okay, now that we got that on, we can go back to our hole again, take our screw, and do this on camera. There we are, and pop that back through again. Collect the screw thread, so a little 1/4 turn. There we go. And then once we tighten that up, nip that up, should still get there, but it's not too much. See, can you see that? That's taken out some of the slack in there. So you can, it's probably about the best as you'll get it. So you've got some, but it's nicely moved. So I've got to do the same with the front. So performing that same action on the other one. So we've got the back one in place, and we're going to do the same one. So you can see I've popped that little washer on there, look. Okay, so now you can see, and same again, your small number 1 screw, and we'll pop that in so it gets gets a thread or 2. It's a bit, that's better, straighter. Try and make sure everything's straight. And then tighten that down, and again you just want to nip this so it's nipped up. That's too tight, can you see that's not moving anything? So we need to just, there you go, just a 1/4 turn, so it's not sloppy, but it's freely moves, because obviously you want this to move freely when you're on the chassis. So there we go, that's the 4 dampers attached to the main chassis rail. So the next part of this step, it's quite a busy step actually, so we're looking to get this, the completed view. So we've got quite a few bits here. So we've got at the back here, we've got this bit here, which is the cross beam. Okay, we've also got our motor assembly. You've got the gearbox shell. You've then got the this is the front tray. This houses the servo. So you've got the servos to go in, and then you've got to, in order to get the servo in, we need to obviously centralize our servo. Now, it doesn't say on here when you put the servo on, it doesn't talk about this little plate here. Now, this little plate, believe it or not, is the plate that when the servo goes in the servo front tray, this goes over the top of the servo and it screws there and there to hold the servo in place, which is quite a neat idea. And there's a lot gone into this tray. This what do they call this tray? I don't know what they call this steering gear tray or whatever, steering gear tray. There's a lot that's gone in here, because look, the way this servo got this wire that comes around, so they've had to make an area here. They've also had to make it clip in here. They've also had to make sure this was correct so it sticks out front. Then they've obviously had to make this so it fits over the top and holds that servo in. You know, there's a lot that's gone into this, actually. So anyway, we'll come back to that. So we've got to do the steering servo. We've actually then got our tray to hold it down with, so we've got to centralize that, install these components in. Luckily for us, WPL have already attached these sliding shafts. They're the drive shafts, one half of the drive shafts. They've already attached those for us, so we don't need to do that. So it's a single speed motor. Again, this I say to you, this is the main chassis. Some upgrades are going to come later on, and then we've got this steering cover which will go on top like that. So quite a busy step.